to our local non-league. And of course, joining me as always on a Sunday evening is the one and only Mr. Andy Leese. And Andy, I mean, again, we haven't spoken for a couple of weeks due to sort of my work commitments and stuff. But I mean, you've had a fantastic time with it while we've been away, and 4 wins on the bounce, and a fantastic win yesterday. And of course, as we've been speaking about off air, Mo smashing the goals in again.
Yeah, doing what he does best, but been a real team effort over the last 4 games. Yeah, quite remarkable, Dave. You know, to keep saying it, we've handled 9 games in 30 days, have we? 29 days, and huge effort. And yeah, some hard-fought wins in there. Hasn't been pretty, but yeah, probably maybe the Kingstonian game was the exception. We did play some good stuff, and our finishing was top draw. But yeah, our form has been fantastic, and couldn't be more pleased with the players and where we found ourselves. You know, it's cemented us firmly in second place. Teams keep dropping points. It was our turn to drop points, you know, earlier in the month, and other teams are doing it now. So yeah, we've got ourselves in a great position.
And it's, you know, even looking at something, so we have 4 games, you know, but when you start looking at who you've played in those 4 games, I mean, you know, it's been a tough run. I mean, Bales and Pitsea, Kingstonian, Carshalton, and then Margate, you know, over the weekend. It's not been
no
an easy run of it, has it?
Not at all. Bowers came to us and were very well drilled, very resilient. You know, they were scratching around for points themselves and made it. You know, it was a difficult game that we eventually came through. Kingstonian, we did step above, you know, our normal standard, and we were excellent on the day. Disappointed they scored 2 late on to make the scoreline a bit more flattering, but a great performance from us. Tuesday, we had a bit of a hangover against Carshalton first half. They came and made it very difficult. Another resilient side who, you know, still got playoff ambitions, but we found a way again second half. And then yesterday, more of the same. It was a pretty even first half, I felt, although we put Margate under a lot of pressure. And then it turned for us in the second half. Maybe a bit of good fortune with one of the goals, but the rest of it we worked hard for. So yeah, we found that form we had earlier in the season. Say consistency, you know what I mean, Dave? The consistency of the performances and the players. You know, everybody's hitting the mark at the moment, and we've had a few injuries in there as well. A few challenges. We're a bit stretched yesterday with the squad. So yeah, couldn't be more pleased.
And one of those things, though, you know, Andy, when you start going through a spate where maybe results are not, or performance are not going the way you want to, you know, heads could go down, and you know, and I think at one stage you even slipped out of that top sort of 4 or 5.
Yeah, we did briefly. Yeah,
you know, but the lads have sort of kept their heads together. You know, kept it going. You've kept them going. You know, with Maz as well, and kept these boys going. And now, as you said earlier on, you know, sitting quite comfortably there in second place, 2 points behind Worthing. You know, Worthing, okay, got a game in hand. Bishops have got a game in hand underneath you. But when you start looking at some of what the games of Worthing have got to play as well, they've got some big games to play where you've come through that sort of stage. They've still got quite a lot of big games to play, you know, coming up as well.
Yeah, that's what we said last time, isn't it? Yeah, and yeah, we've turned it round with a combined effort. You know, management, coaching staff, and players. We worked very hard at it. A lot of analysis when we were losing and drawing, why we were doing that, and then, you know, how to sort of turn it round. It has been game by game, but fair play to the players. You know, they take on board everything we're asking of them, and yeah, we managed to turn it round, and as you say, find ourselves in a fantastic position. But I think I said yesterday, Dave, you know, I think we're entitled to look up now and look above us, but we also got to keep looking behind. As you say, you've got teams with games in hand. I think Folkestone, probably the team most likely to catch everybody with 3 games in hand, but none of the games are, well, nothing in the league straightforward, but as you say, they've got to play each other. There's some difficult, you know, tricky looking fixtures for some of the teams around us. Same for us, but ours are a bit more spread out now. And we are, and our locals as well. A lot of teams are running into 8 or 9 games in February. We're not quite that bad. I think we play 6 or 7. So we need that collective breather. I say this week, Dave, we've got League Cup on Tuesday, home to Barking, and we need to be ready for that. I will probably make some changes to the squad and rest 1 or 2. There are some tired legs and tired minds around, but when you're playing and winning, the adrenaline's flowing. The momentum is with you. And I had players yesterday saying to me, "Oh, Gaffy, I want to play Tuesday. Don't leave me out." So yeah.
I mean, you say that you got 5 legs out, but how difficult is that? When you know that okay, you're playing Barking, and Barking, the Barking manager is going to join me tomorrow on our show tomorrow, and of course the physio is going to help present it with me as well tomorrow. But they're a team that's been improving as well under Charlie Mack. I mean, Charlie Mack's been there, and all of a sudden their results seem to be sort of going the right way as well. So, I mean, I suppose one, how difficult is it to leave people out when you've got Bowers and Pitsy, at the weekend, and then also as well, where's your head at with maybe trying to win that sort of Velocity Trophy?
Well, we're the holders, so that's the first thing to say, Dave. We're the holders since it was last played 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So we want to go and retain it. So we won't be making wholesale changes, but we'll take players out where they're perhaps carrying knocks and they've got through the last couple of games, say, with injuries. We've got a suspension probably kicking in as well. And there are 1 or 2 tired legs. We know the players who perhaps need to come out, but we won't be weakening in any way what we do, because we're the holders and we'd like to go on and retain it again.
Mm. I suppose one of the other things, I'm not saying all the supporters will be thinking this, but when you go through a situation of beating Kingstonian, beating Carshalton, and et cetera, and then all of a sudden you come into a run where you've got say a couple of difficult games in Bowers and then Bishop Stortford, which no one in the playoffs, and then they could probably look at it and go, well, then we got Wingate and then we got Leatherhead. Do you know what I mean? People sort of look at that and go, well, we should be winning them. So how difficult does that become? As you said, you've got, I'm just looking at it, you've got 5th of February Bowers, 12th of February Bishops, 15th of Feb Wingate and Finchley, 19th of Feb Leatherhead, and then there's a certain trip to Worthing on the 26th. So I mean, there's a fair old duffy of games again. When we've already said that if you include the game against Barking on the 1st, you've played 10 games in January. Up till the 1st of Feb.
Yeah. Well, we're again, David, risk of repeating myself. We're blessed with a squad with some depth in it. We have got 3 or 4 injuries. I expect 1 or 2 of those to be back this week. So great opportunity for the players coming back to get straight into a game or 2. Yes, we'll have half an eye on Bowers, but even in this, in terms of the next game after Barking, but we in this run we haven't been looking any further than just the next game, and we'll do the same in February. But I think there'll come a point in a couple of weeks' time where we will have every injury back. I mean, that's assuming we don't get any more injuries. I am looking to add to the squad tomorrow as well, where I think we need to strengthen, and we may do something else as well in February, and then I think that will be it. But yeah, we're blessed, Dave, with the depth of the squad. There's a number of players who've been out at other clubs playing games in Step 4. Might be an opportunity for them to come back in as well. But for sure, we will juggle it. We will juggle it round. But I don't want to change what is effectively a winning team and a formation and everything else. I don't want to make too many changes. I've learned in the past you do that and try and be clever, and you can easily lose momentum. And that's what we're trying to avoid.
Well, just after we spoke the last time a few weeks ago, of course you went out and signed a certain player, and people that I've been speaking to said that it's probably one of the coups of the season, getting hold of Jake Cass. I mean, is that how you see it yourself?
I do at the moment. Yeah, I mean, I've gone on record and said I was amazed a player like Jake became available, but we moved very quickly to secure him. Delighted that he chose us over Dave, any number of clubs. You know, he was inundated, as you can imagine, and he's hit the ground running. You know, super player, work ethic phenomenal, finishing well. You know, goes without saying. And yeah, just you're right. Could be, you know, one of the coups of the season. You know, but we were struggling there. Struggling. Adam Cunnington and Mo can't be playing every minute of every game. Not the schedule we've had and what we've still got to manage through February. So it was fantastic to be able to mix it up. We ended up starting all three of them against Bowers. So you know, there's an option there that I hadn't thought of when we brought Jake in. But yeah, super player, super lad. He's he's a super player. Got great attitude towards the game. You know, he's in great physical condition as well. And I think he'd missed a few games at Stortford before for you know the reasons that I think have become public. He wasn't in the squad and not playing, and he's come to us, and I've thrown him in and played him nearly every minute of every game. I think yesterday was the first time I brought him off. So he was, he's been fantastic for us. He really has, and him and Mo have linked well. Him and Cunnington linked well. So yeah, fantastic signing for us.
I mean, speaking about Mo, I mean, as every sort of phone call comes in, do you get nervous? Who might be on the other end of that phone? Because I mean, at the minute, he's been absolutely outstanding, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has, and we've had a lot of interest, but not serious interest. I don't know if that's going to change tonight or tomorrow. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, what I would say is, you know, he's a man of his word, and he, you know, and he said he'd sign, and then he said he'd sign a contract, and he has. And I say, man of his word. He, you know, he's talking of staying to the end of the season. He'd love to get us promoted. You know, he wants to kind of hit some targets as he's doing that. You know, he loves the numbers. Mo loves the statistics, and so yeah, of course you're always wary, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure that he'll disappear anytime soon. I say lots of interest in terms of people looking at him, but I'd like to think we've got him for the season. You know, he and I have probably conversed once a week about it. But yeah, at the moment, Dave, as it stands, I think he'll be here and helping us to get to where we want to be.
I mean, he seems, you know, you see social media presence and stuff, and he does seem to be a really sort of down to earth young man as well, doesn't he? I mean, whenever you see anything on there, he's always sort of very gracious about what's happened or what he's done. He just
very
nice guy.
Very humble, very knows. Yeah, absolutely, and he is very, very grounded. Works extremely hard as well. You know, none of it's got to him. He works as hard every week as he ever has done when he's played for us. You know, yeah, and he's enjoying it. That's the thing with Mo. You know, you think how long Davey went when he went to Bolton and he didn't get started. Change of manager, they loaned him out, and then at Barnet, you know, he barely kicked a football, did he, in anger for 12 months. So you think what he's missed, and he's just making up for that really at the moment. And yeah, he's just loving playing again, smile on his face every week. And of course, he's, scoring the goals, even bigger smile. So, yeah, great lad to have around. Very, very easy to deal with. And yeah, let's hope he, I don't know what his targets are. I imagine he's hit them at 20, 25, 30 goals. And, I know he was asking me the other day about goal scoring records for the club. And I know, like Liam Hope's still playing. I see he scored yesterday at Ware, didn't he? But, I think Liam holds the record at Enfield Town. But, yeah, Mo's got one or two others in his sights. And his numbers are quite incredible. I mean, I've got a feeling, Dave, it's 70 goals in about 75 appearances. So it's nothing short of remarkable, isn't it? But he does it against all the, he's not one of your flat track bullies. He does it against the top sides, and equally as well as he does against the other teams we play. So yeah, I suppose there's always a little prayer every night, making sure he's sticking around. But, the fact he's enjoying it
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
a big thing for me.
Yeah.
I think when a player's happy and like that, you know, I think would take a huge offer, or very, very good offer, should I say, at a very good level for him to leave right now. I think he will honour his contract and stick to his word and do his best to get us promoted. I can't speak for beyond that. I think we had an AGM a couple of weeks ago, and the chairman said much the same thing. You know, we've been pretty clear about it. So yeah.
I suppose, look, one question to finish with, I suppose, is the game against Bowers, of course, at the weekend. He's on the 3G. Does that sort of? I know you're in a really good run and all the rest of it, but maybe some of the older players maybe in your squad. Does that sort of bring you thought process of, you know, playing on those type of services with the amount of games you've got to play? Is it something that you would talk to some of those players and say, look, are you okay playing on this with the amount of games you've got?
Yeah, well, we train on 3G, Dave, so I know what they think of it. We have a fantastic 3G training pitch, you know, at the end of the driveways. You come into the club, and the players like that. We've had a spell lately where we played at Horsham on the Tuesday and then Harringay on the Saturday, two 3G pitches. I think if you're on it consistently, would dare I say, some of the older legs probably feel it a bit, you know, if there isn't the give in the surface. But generally, you know, they're all used to it. We like it, you know. It allows us to play a different game. You know, the surface is very, very true, and so I don't really have any issues. I know those who don't particularly like it. So, but there's never really a discussion with them about, you know, do you want to play or not? You know, you're selected, you're playing. But I know with some of the older players, I think if you're on it consistently, Dave, you know, it can take its toll, you know. But and a lot of the surfaces now, they're very good, aren't they? You know, there's plenty of give in them, and you know, I have no complaints anyway when we play on it. So.
Yeah. Well, listen, mate. Thanks for joining us in your busy schedule. I know you're really busy. Hopefully, we'll speak again next week. But wish you all the best against Barking on Tuesday, and then of course against Bowers next weekend. And hopefully, we might speak again next Sunday. But wish you all the best with that, mate. And hopefully, Mo and Jake and Adam bang in a few more for you over the next couple of games.
Yeah, well, I think we're top scorers in the league now. I think somebody described us as the great entertainers yesterday. I'm like, well, I'm not sure about that, but yeah, we keep rattling them in. Got to try and keep them out the other end, Dave. That's been the challenge, and we've done pretty well at that again in the last 3 or 4 games. So yeah, let's hope so. But appreciate you giving us the airtime.
No problem. Anytime at all. But listen, mate, we'll speak to you again next week.
Thanks, Dave.